Hey, Amber here with Adventures in Leadership, going over a little bit about the parenting chapters because I've been asked, what is this? What are you doing? Why is this Mormon woman talking about sex and arming their kids and intimacy, yada, yada, yada? Well, because it's a commandment to multiply and replenish the earth, which means we have to have sex and we have to be talking to our children about it, and they're hearing about it all the time, everywhere. Their exposure is more crazy, I think, than any of us could have ever expected that it would be. And it is something that is now expected. It's something that's very common. I remember several years ago, I attended a youth conference, and a very well-intentioned bishop got up and said, okay, everybody, I'm going to help you guys. We're going to do some role playing, and we're going to figure out the best way for you to combat some of the stuff coming at you while you're in high school. So we got one of the popular jocks up, and he said to him, okay, I'm going to pretend to be one of your friends who's 16, and I'm going to help you. You ready? And he goes, okay. And he says, all right. So this wonderful bishop gets up and says, so how come you Mormons don't do it, And he goes, because it's sacred, was the reply. And the bishop went, oh, great, and clapped his hands, and everybody went and sat back down. And I was sitting there thinking, whoa, wait, we're going to arm these kids with it's sacred? That's it? That's the only conversation we're going to have? Is this so uncomfortable that we can't give them a little bit more information? And that kind of launched and propelled me into doing what I'm doing now. Because over the last 20 years, I have been mentoring, counseling with, visiting with couples, especially with women who are not experiencing the joy that they are supposed to be having right now, right? I read a book once that said, something about sex being amazing. Sensational sex was always God's plan. That's what it was. And I believe that when things are done the way the Lord expects them to be, it looks completely different than what we are seeing now. And too many people are not experiencing the measure of that creation. And so instead of talking to the parents, to the couples, I want to start talking to the parents about how we can make this a better experience for our children, how they can get through this myriad of misinformation that's coming at them, because there's so much and it's so convoluted, and we're frankly outdated if you talk to some of them. That was your world back then. Instead of them understanding the universal truths about this and what it can be for and like in their life, we're almost becoming someone that would be archaic in talking to, and it can't be that way. It needs to be super easy for us to talk to them and easy for them to come back to us. And there are many tools that we've been given, many tools, and we need to help them. We need to help them get their armor on. That's the most important thing that we can do, because they're exposed to so much right now. And I think about the fights that always went on between the Lamanites and the Nephites, and the Lamanites were outnumbering them. And that was growing. And we are outnumbered, frankly, right? If a third of the host of heaven is down here on this planet and there's 2/3 of us rotating over 6,000 years, well, we're outnumbered too. So what did the Lord say to the Nephites? He said, hey, cover up your heads, cover up your chest, Don't just stand there and be a victim to these outnumbered enemy. And so that continued to increase as the vengeance against the Nephites grew with the Lamanites. Then they started to put mounds of dirt. The Lord instructed them how to protect themselves. Put mounds of dirt around your cities. Build up these towers and stand on these towers so that you're out of reach of their bows and arrows. So what does that look like with our kids? How do we protect them? How do we help them put on their armor so that they don't keep falling? As a seminary teacher and somebody who's worked with the youth since I got married 27 years ago, I just keep watching the lights go out in these kids as they step over that line. And so many of them are swimming in so much confusion, they just don't know what to do with it. My mission is to strengthen families, and this is one of the ways that I get to do it. And that is the reason that I have started this chapter of Adventures in Leadership.